story of out-of-control hair that belonged to an out-of-control little girl called Claire. The hair itself was both curly and frizzy, and most mornings would keep Claire very busy. And she would have to tie it up or put it in a plait, or in a ponytail, or wear it under a hat. Now the other problem was she didn't care for toys, but preferred rough and tumble games with all the naughty boys. She preferred football and fishing and crawling on her knees, rope swings and wrestling and climbing in the trees. Okay, so back to the hair. There's one thing you gotta know, is that if it got wet, poof, it would turn into a giant afro. So like I said, Claire would have to work hard to keep control. As she grew up, she preferred a hat to hide the afro. She avoided getting wet or any chance of it going boof. And then she realised its importance one day whilst up on a roof. Running across the rooftops, it had started to rain. She lost her footing and slipped, and screaming out in pain. Falling fast, she had an idea as she got closer to the street. She took off her hat and her hair got wet, and boof, she bounced off her hair and safely onto her feet. There was the stone that led to a brick, that in turn led to a block that had a plank of wood on top. Now the other end of the plank was a large water tank, which in turn led to a pipe which disappeared out of sight. Now inside the wall there's a cavity so tall, from the pipe to the eaves, which is full of dry dead leaves. All the way to the top it's dark, so don't stop, and at the top there's a shutter that will lead to a gutter. And now you're back outside. There's a small ledge where you can hide, and if you scurry up the tiles, you can see for miles. So now at the top of the house, there's a very proud mouse, who stands on the edge, you see, pulls his parachute and jumps while screaming, "Yippee!" Buzz off, Bumblebee! Get away from me! Ah, he's going to sting us! He sounds really angry! And with their waving arms and all their commotion and their fuss and their rolled up newspapers, some folk would try to squash us. Well, that would make Buzz unhappy, because he really was quite friendly. His buzzing wasn't angry, but excitement, and not really deadly. And his mum would say, "Buzz, a calm approach is better. Hold on to your buzz and count to 10, and you might become a trendsetter." Well, Buzz was keen to give it a try, as he was desperate to make friends. So he approached this little boy quietly, held his buzz and counted to 10. And to Buzz's surprise, it worked. The little boy cupped his hands and scooped him up. And unable to hide his excitement, Buzz started to buzz, which in turn made the boy hiccup. Now each hiccup made the boy jump, which in turn would make Buzz bump, and which each bump made Buzz buzz more, and as Buzz buzzed more, the little boy started to giggle. And add that to a hiccup and a buzz, and the outcome is a whole lot of fuss. With laughter everything increased as they both started to wriggle. Now Buzz buzzed even more as the two of them fell to the floor, rolling around on the ground. It was a sight to see, the little boy in hysterics and his friend the Bumblebee. Bzzz. Bringing shoes back from the dead as they sit unworn in a pile under the bed, and in the cupboard under the stairs, worn out, tired, and always in pairs. So how do you resuscitate a dead shoe that's out of date? With his mouth wide open and tongue hanging out, his eyes looking up, he screams with a shout. So here's the secret, short and sweet. Take them shoes and put them on your feet, for once they're filled, they'll live again. Take 'em for a walk like a long-lost friend. That's how you bring shoes back from the dead. You wear them. Federico lived in the fields. In fact, he lived in the long grass. And he never walked anywhere, as his transport was whoever walked past. And one day he needed to visit a relative on the other side of town. So he waited at his jumping spot for someone to come around. And first to pass was Ralph the Rat, who felt something drop on his back. And he said, "Is that you, Federico?" "Yes, it is, Ralph. Would you be so kind and take me to the cat?" And next in line was the feline Coraline, who also felt Federico as he landed on her spine. "Is that you, Federico?" "Yes, it is, Coraline. Could you drop me off with the dog? Oh, that would be so kind." Now Coraline and Thomas the dog, well, they didn't see eye to eye, so Frederico had to make his jump as Coraline whizzed by. Taken by surprise, Thomas soon realised, "Is that you, Frederico?" "Yes, it is, Thomas. Quickly, do me a favour and wag your tail at this old man passing by." Now, as a rule, humans didn't like Frederico, so on the old man's hat he didn't stay too long. He jumped again and found a passing bird, you know, the black one with the beautiful song. "Is that you, Frederico?" "Why, yes, it is, Maud. For your flying skills I applaud. Would you be so kind to fly north, as I have an invitation with my Uncle Claude?" So Maud dropped Frederico off, just as Claude put the kettle on to make a cup of tea. "Is that you, Frederico?" "Why, yes, it is, Uncle." Good, good, come in and tell me about your journey." "Well, Uncle, first I travelled with Ralph the rat. Upon his back he was a very nice chap, who passed me on to Coraline the cat, who was so kind to let me ride on her spine. And then as quick as a flash the cat made a dash, and I switched to a dog named Thomas, who used his tail, and through the air I sailed, and I didn't stay long on the human like I promised. And then upon Maud's wing, oh how we both like to sing, we sang of roads that we have crossed. And as the journey came to an end, I'd just like to send some thanks to all my travelling friends who I have jumped, bounced and tossed." End of the road. Her hair itself was both curly and frizzy, and most mornings would give her knees, rope swings and wrestling and criming in the criming? For put it in a plat, or under the hair itself was both ow, jeez, Claire. The hair itself was both and crawling on her knees, rope swings and wrestling and climbing on her a hat to hide the afro, so she avoided getting wet or the chair. Now the other problems but God, Jones, getting wet or any chance of it going boof. But then she realised its importance once. This is a story that will not go right. Okay, so back to the hair. There's one thing you gotta know. Control hair that belonged to a was both curly and frizzy, and most mornings would keep wear it in a ponytail or wear it in a hat, under a hat. Would try to squat us. Well, this would make Buzz unhappy. Happity. It would make him unhappy. And they're rolled up newspapers because it's not really the words. Now, with each hiccup made the boy jump, which in turn would make Buzz bump. As they sit unworn in a pile. Well, one day he needed to visit town. So he waited at. Then all paw, then upon. Who also felt Frederico. Next in line was the feline Coraline, who also felt Coraline the cat, who was so kind to drop me off down her spine. It's not drop me off. Bow, wow.